welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. The show is about transforming lives one story at a time, and I'm your host, Nikki Clarke. It is such a pleasure to be back and to be able to share incredible stories of transformation, empowerment, and upliftment. And I'm super stoked to have a very special guest on the show today. This is her second time on the show, and I am so pleased to announce that she has a book out. Actually, it's her second publication called Bushy Head. So please welcome the author, Peta Gaye Nash, to the show. How are you doing tonight, Peta Gaye?
I'm great. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Oh, it's such a pleasure, and thank you so much for this a delightful children's book. Oh, this is a great book. So we'll talk a little bit more about the contents. But before we do that, let's talk about your background leading up to becoming an author. How did that start?
Well, I love reading and I love writing. I think it's just my thing. I think everybody has a thing that they love to do, and this was my thing. My parents, especially my mom, read to me a lot, but they both used to tell a lot of stories. And, I would say both my parents are real storytellers in the Caribbean style, always talking about things that are happening and people and, learning from stories that have happened to them. And I read from an early age, and when I was in my late 20s, I started writing. It was always something I'd wanted to do. Right. But I think what held me back was the confidence. I had a lot of self-doubt about actually starting. So once I started with adult fiction, short stories really. But I became a children's author only when I had my own children. That's how it really started. And yeah. So actually, Bushy Head is my 7th children's book.
Excellent. That is amazing. And Peta Gaye, I understand that you're inspired by your children. How many children do you have?
I've got 4 children. So I have a book for each child, and they're all based on learning experiences. One is about manners, one is about being kind and compassionate. Another one is just about the cultural differences between Canada and Jamaica and that kind of thing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So now you have the book Bushy Head. It's your 7th book. Tell us about Bushy Head. What can we expect as a reader?
Bushy Head came about when my last 2 children had very curly hair. And my daughter's grandfather in Jamaica nicknamed her Bushy Head, and I thought her hair was the most beautiful thing on earth, and my sons too, just wild and out of control. And what happened was that I wanted my kids to have a very different experience of hair than I did when I was growing up, because I feel that I grew up with the messages that straight hair was better and that we should aspire to have straight hair. And this is not, I'm not trying to tell people how to wear their hair. I think that hair is hair. And we should be able to wear our hair any way we want to wear our hair. But we shouldn't be teased by it. And I felt that my daughter was really confident because my husband and I gave her that confidence. But that changed when she went to school. And the same thing happened with my nieces who have curly hair. They were teased at school and said that they couldn't be princesses because they had curly hair. My daughter was teased, and the teasing actually got worse. But I wanted to turn around the story. You always want, there has to be something that happens. And what happened is that my daughter, 2 of them actually, and my niece both donated their hair. They grew their hair as long as they could, and then donated it for wigs, human hair wigs. And this is exactly what the character in Bushy Head does. I'm just going to hold up the book. I'm really proud of this one. I think I hope you don't see the reflection.
Yeah. But who did the illustration, Peta Gaye? They're beautiful.
Alia Holmes. She is absolutely amazing. The illustrations are just incredible. I don't know.
They are.
Can you
They
can
really
you
are.
see them? This is Bushy Head when she has cut her hair and donated it. So the illustrations are actually amazing. But I'm really proud of this book because, and I'm passionate about it. What I want readers to get out of it is whatever kind of hair you have on your head, embrace it. Just embrace it. Bushyhead's father is bald. So he keeps, when she's complaining about her hair at first, he keeps telling her, be glad you have hair. So, yeah, it's about really being comfortable in your own skin. Children need to be taught this from as young as possible. So Bushyhead is from 3 to 7, ages 3 to 7. And it's so important that we really start getting our youth to just love who they are. And I think as a writer, we write about things that maybe we're missing in our lives, or, that we want to share with the world and inspire and motivate. And my goal is for every curly hair kid, curly, kinky, coily, whatever your hair type is, to just look in the mirror and absolutely love those curls, coils, kinks, love it, and embrace it and be glad that you have it. And no matter what society says, don't try to fix it or change it if you don't want to, because I saw that happening, in my journey as a mom. And it happened with people of my own race. And that's why I knew that I had to write this book. And many of the people were well-meaning people. I had a Black woman come up to me and say, and this is when it's based off of my daughter Meadow. She was in daycare and I let her hair go wild. I just let it be as wild as it could be because I thought it was beautiful.
Yes.
And she said to me, I can help you with products to tame Meadow's hair. And, I said, thank you, but I had no intention. I mean, not at that age. I just wanted her to love it, to look at it and just love it.
Yeah, that reminds me of my own experience with my daughters who have curly hair. One has a finer texture than the other, but I remember her sharing that she went to work one day and she unleashed her beautiful curls and to the kind of disdain of her other workers. And I said, well, how could that be? They're so beautiful. But she says, I don't know. I seem to annoy some people. And I said, well, I think they're just envious. But I think you're absolutely right, Peta Gaye, to, don't silence the roar of the beauty of curly hair. Absolutely. And I love how you did this with such grace and class in putting this book together for, I know it's intended for younger readers, but for everyone to get the message.
Yes, I want everyone to get the message that, your hair doesn't need fixing. It really does not need fixing. I even had a hairdresser, try to convince me to straighten Meadow's hair when she was really young. She was maybe 7 or 8. And I kept saying, no, thank you. And she kept insisting, it'll just make it a little bit less curly. And I did not want that message for my children, that for you to be okay, you had to be fixed. Your hair had to be fixed. That was the opposite. So that's the goal of this book. I want kids to know you don't need fixing. You are perfect exactly the way you are with your wild curly hair. You are perfect.
I love that. Absolutely. And how has this passion project of yours, how has that transformed your life and perhaps your children's lives?
This is a journey that I have wanted so badly forever. And it's only now that I could make it happen, of a lot of self-doubt. The messages that we say in our head not even necessarily what people tell us, but what we believe about ourselves. I love writing. And I think children's books came naturally when I had children, but other kinds of writing sometimes it's such a struggle because of those negative messages
Sure.
that I really have to fight to overcome. So I'm still in a stage of transformation. I think that every day that goes by that I take some little action towards my goal,
Mm-hmm.
that's I'm slowly transforming into the person that I would like to become. Um, yeah, I think we're all in a state of transformation. And, during this COVID time, my best friend Leanne said to me, "You have no excuse not to do this book now." And my
Exactly.
heart immediately started to race.
Mm-hmm.
It started to race because inside it was like, yeah, I know I could do it, but am I going to follow through? It's so hard. It's so much work. Can you really do it? Is this for you? So I had to, combat a lot of those negative voices. I don't know where they come from. A girlfriend of mine recently said to me, have you noticed that a lot of children, a lot of people who are from the Caribbean are extraordinarily hard on themselves?
Yeah.
People who were raised by West Indian parents. And I thought about that and said, you're right. Yeah, I see that in a lot of West Indian people. We are very hard on ourselves. And sometimes that harshness
Mm-hmm.
does not make things happen for you. It actually does the opposite thing. It makes you, well, for me, I'll speak for myself. Those harsh voices actually make me just want to lie in bed and watch Netflix.
Right.
it
Right.
you know it does not propel me into any kind of action at all. So I am in a state of transformation right now.
Absolutely. Well, we conquer, I think, thousands of thoughts every day, the majority of them being negative, unfortunately. So the mind is likened to be like a battlefield. And we
Yes,
really need to be more than a conqueror when it comes to just putting aside or silencing those negative thoughts
yes,
that come and really
yes,
embracing the positive ones. So it's not an overnight process, it takes time. But
right.
when you get there and you recognize those thoughts creeping up that are not the best, just tell them to sit down.
Yes, that's exactly it, Nikki. You said it. It's recognizing those hot thoughts and noticing how they make you feel. And a
Hmm.
lot of times those negative thoughts, they don't make us feel very good.
No, they don't. They don't. They affect our behavior and how we think, becomes a habit, then the habit becomes a character. And
Yes,
you don't want to
yes,
show up that way in a dynamic with anyone, right? That can lead to a toxic kind of situation. So you really want
yes.
to take stock and to, like I said, just conquer those negative thoughts.
Yes, and I think that translates to any person out there who's listening who wants to achieve a goal.
Hmm.
It's not just about writing books, because that might not be someone else's thing. It could that their thing could be weight loss, or it could be
Sure.
running a marathon, whatever. We are gifted with so many different talents. And sometimes, if you feel that you are really stuck and you can't seem to move forward, really it's listening to what you tell yourself, those thoughts.
And also, your diet is not necessarily about food, it's about what you take in your environment. So if your environment is conducive to creating negative thoughts, then you need to change your environment. I love the way things are going in your pursuit of happiness, and you've achieved quite a bit, so congratulations. It's not an
Thank you
easy
so
task
much.
to publish a book,
Thank
and
you so much.
oh, you're more than welcome. I'm excited. I'm assuming there are more chapters and more books coming. You're not going to stop,
Absolutely.
right? Okay.
Absolutely. I am working on it.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Peta Gaye, we would love to know where we can purchase the book and also how we can follow you on social media.
Yes, so my books are available on Amazon, and I'd be really happy, if your followers would go to my website, which is petagaynash.com. I blog on this website. I've blogged about the book and also just about my writing journey and my self-help journey, because if I can help, even one person, then it's all worth it, because I'm putting myself out there in the blog, and just sharing some of my experiences about life and moving forward and overcoming challenges. So, please follow me. Feel free to comment on petagaynash.com. And I am also on Instagram and on Facebook.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much. Peta Gaye Nash, author of Bushy Head and a number of other books for children and adults. So please check her out on social media, follow her, read her blog, and be inspired. Peta Gaye, it's a pleasure, and I look forward to our next chat.
Thank you so much, Nikki. It was a pleasure to be on again.
Awesome. Have a wonderful night. Be blessed.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye. Bye.
The Nikki Clarke Show, transforming lives one story at a time. If you would like to be a guest or become a part of our live studio audience, or even to become a sponsor, just go to www.NikkiClarkeNetwork.com.